Bruce Mehlman, there's a lot of concern within the creative community that piracy, intellectual piracy on the internet, both in the US and particularly globally, is undermining our creative and entertainment economy. What is the Republican position on this? How are you going to be able to protect writers, filmmakers, musicians from piracy on the internet?
Well, to be fair on this one, I don't believe concerns over piracy are only Republican or only Democratic. I think there's bipartisan concern that our economy, which is so innovative and so knowledge-based and so creative, creates trillions of dollars worth of products, hundreds of billions of which are appropriated or stolen unfairly and inappropriately. So you'd start with a bipartisan concern over global piracy and domestic piracy, and a desire to protect software creators, gamers, music, book creators. It's again, it's bipartisan and it's not specific only to Hollywood. That said, what I think you have an equal and opposite, if not greater, creative community concern over is let's just make sure that as a solution to online piracy, we don't re-architect the internet or otherwise put regulations in place that are so burdensome that the folks who are creating the new devices, the new online activities, broadband version 3.0 are unable to create their new creative works. It's a real problem. It's a real concern because globally we're not going to sell cheap rubber toys. Globally we're going to sell knowledge products, and knowledge products are typically rendered digitally and therefore subject to piracy. We've got to focus on it. We've got to focus on it well. But we also do need to make sure that the solutions we propose at home and globally don't undermine other creativity happening in Silicon Valley and Route 128 around Boston and around the country and around the world.
So what do you think people outside Washington, D.C. need to do in terms of confronting piracy? Is this a broader cultural issue too?
Well, yeah, I think there's a need for awareness starting in schools, but going through companies, and companies should be aware of how their machines are being used. And I think we all have, parents should be aware. I'm a parent. I'm trying to be aware of how my children are using the internet. We need to buy the songs on the download site as opposed to having somebody send them to you. Same with software. Economically, the problem is at least as global with counterfeit and global piracy. But I think we all have responsibility, TechCrunch included.
And what about the future of television, Bruce? People say now that cable has been engulfed in the same digital crisis as music and movies. Is that true?
Gosh, that's a great question. I'm not an expert enough to know whether cable signals are being pirated. I'm not aware that they are, but if it's technologically feasible, it's being done, is usually the case. I tend to look, I'm an optimist. I look at the glass half full. I'm excited about the fact that we have ever increasing competition to cable. I've got Fios at home, so I've got my telecom provider giving me my video services, but I could also download from Netflix. I could get digital TV. I could have a host of channels, TechCrunch or others, providing me TV or video-like services. That means there's more content, more channels for content than we've ever seen, more diversity in media, more opportunities for me to get good news or good programming than I've ever had before. I'm pretty excited by that, and it seems like the broad proliferation of avenues for creativity are generating more creativity, not less.
So generally, you're optimistic about the future of technology in terms of the entertainment industry?
I am.